Hello, my friends on YouTube. Today is Sunday, the 17th of November 2024. Today's video, I'm going to use an Arabic word and I'll explain what it is because there is no English or any other translation to it, so I have to explain it. Today's video is called Tahlil marriage. Of course, there are many marriages in Islam. Mut'a marriage, misyar marriage. Mut'a is just a man and a woman can get together for an hour, 2 hours, it depends. And they do whatever they want to do and each goes his way. And there's misyar marriage, there is temporary marriage, and so on and so forth. Recently I was checking the news and I see by accident an article, a video on BBC Arabic was made by BBC, and it's called, the translation, it's an Arabic word, is Tahlil marriage. What is Tahlil marriage? The Prophet of Allah, may the blessing of Allah be upon him, he touched on everything in human life. So he didn't leave us wandering left or right. He explained to us how to even go to the bathroom and how to clean our behind. It was so difficult. People didn't know how to do that then. Anyway, God bless him, and he left us really on the right path. Now we can clean our behind. Thank you very much. Anyway, one of the good, wonderful things that he explained to us is Tahlil marriage. What's Tahlil marriage? In the Islamic religion or faith or ideology, or call it whatever you want to call it, if a man divorces his wife once, he can, and then both of them, or he can consider that his family will suffer and his children or whatever, he can take his wife back. They can remarry and nothing happened. The thing is, if he divorced her 3 times, this is a problem because she cannot go back to him. He divorced her 3 times, that's it. Or if he says, for example, you are divorced 3 times, that's it. She cannot remarry him again unless she marries another man and this man decides to divorce her, and then she can go back to her original family, or first family if you want to call it. As I was digging into that situation to see where it started and stuff like that, I came to hadith. It's a famous hadith narrated by Aisha, the young girl, the 9-year-old bride that the Prophet of Allah consummated his marriage with her when she was 9. He married her when she was 6, consummated the marriage with her, she was 9, and she was a mother of believer for Sunni. For Shia it is something else. They call her a whore. Not my word. For YouTube, that's not my word. That's the Shia call her that, not me. I don't call people names. Okay? Thank you. So this lady went to Aisha with her skin. I'm going to put that in the description box. Her skin was greener than her clothes. Of course, we know if by accident you hit your body against something hard, your skin turned to green. The blood gets there, and anyway, it turns to green. So this lady, this woman, her skin was greener than her garment. She was beaten by her husband. Who is this husband? She was divorced 3 times by her original husband, and then, I mean, really, the woman, her attitude, she wanted to save her family, her children. She didn't want to leave her husband. She didn't want to break the family. And for that, we really appreciate, we should appreciate a woman like that. Nonetheless, it looks like the husband was out of control, a person who cannot control his tongue, to divorce his wife 3 times, and he knows after the 3rd time she will never return to you unless somebody else have sexual intercourse with her. According to the teaching of the Prophet of Allah, may the blessing of Allah be upon him. We have to give respect to the Prophet because you don't want to upset YouTube. Okay, so this lady, her husband lost it. He divorced her 3 times, and at the end they felt that the children and the whole family will suffer. So instead of the husband paying for the stupid behavior and he cannot control himself, he should be paying. The Prophet of Allah, may the blessing be upon him, he gave us the wise advice. What's the advice? The woman has to go to sleep with another man, marry another man and sleep with him. Why he didn't punish the man who divorced her 3 times? She didn't divorce herself. The man divorced her 3 times. And then he wants her to come back to him. So he should be the one paying. Huh? The Prophet of Allah, I think instead of saying the woman marries another man, he should have said the husband should go and spend one night with a strong man and do that to him so he can behave himself. I think that would have been a wiser advice for these people, because they would think twice. What will happen to me as a man if I divorce my wife 3 times and I want her back? A stronger man is coming to... Then they will behave. This is the only language probably they will understand. But the woman gets divorced 3 times. She marries another man, and this man, the second husband, beats her up. Why? It seems to be like the man, she didn't, I mean, it is clear there is no good woman really wants to be passed from one man to another. And there is no good man who would like to spend one night with this woman and another night with another woman, unless the Prophet of Allah was a different situation, because he's the Prophet of Allah. He can do with any woman. So he did with Safiya bint Huyay, the Jewish young lady. He did with Aisha, the 9 years old. He did with Zainab bint Jahsh, who was the wife of his son-in-law, and he told him to divorce her so he can find his way with her, and many. But that's the Prophet of Allah, is not like us. He's the Prophet of Allah. May the blessing of Allah be upon him. So we're respecting him, so we don't get a strike. We respect the Prophet of Allah 100%. Okay? I hope you get that. Anyway, so this woman, to me, she appeared like she didn't want to do that with this man. And probably she thought it's only paperwork in a way, just, accept, sign, and do the ceremony, go to his home, stay one night or two, and ask for divorce and come back. But the guy wanted her in bed. And it seems to me she refused. So he beat her up until her skin turned green all over her body. And then she goes to complain to the Prophet of Allah, who was home at this time, Aisha. So she explained to Aisha, and Aisha sees that her skin turned green from the beating. So she, obviously, women, they identify with each other, so she was upset, rightfully so. So the Prophet of Allah, may the blessing of Allah be upon him, came home. Meanwhile, the second husband knew that his wife, his beat up wife, went to see the Prophet. So he had two sons, he took them with him, and they went to see what is going on, to find from the Prophet and what is happening with this wife. So she told the Prophet, look, and the man came, he told him she doesn't want me to do the things at night. And the woman to get, I think that may have, it could have been true or not. She complained that the man was impotent. And the man, he had two sons, so there is a chance that he could have become impotent, because I mean, these things happen, of course, to some people. That's valid, but also she could have been making this up because she feels, I can't get myself to sleep with this man. I'm a wife of another man. I cannot take my clothes off and give myself to this person. It could have been, and she made up that thing about impotent to get away and to have the Prophet of Allah tell him, let her go. But the Prophet, in his wisdom, he said, hadith, I'm going to put it in the description box. He used that word, it's hard to translate, and he said, unless you taste, is like, the nearest word will be, unless you taste his sweetness and he tastes your sweetness in bed, you cannot go back to your previous husband. And this is, when you do that, then that type of marriage, muhallil marriage, is complete. Then if the husband divorces you at this point, after you taste him and he tastes you, you can go back. If he divorces you, go back to your original first husband, to your family. But the Prophet, he had his wisdom, of course, he is the Prophet. So this type of marriage, I mean, in Islam there are many marriages. The thing is, I'm sorry I didn't mention that this is for adult only, this video in the beginning, I'm sorry. Anyway, it goes without saying, you're talking about Islam. It's sex and invasion and sex. Okay, so take it without saying. So this is the Tahlil marriage, which is allowing the person who divorced his wife 3 times to get his wife back. She has to go through this process, so he will take her back. The thing here is, BBC Arabic had a program about this situation. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything in English. They didn't do that in English, and I didn't see any video in English. But there are Arabic literature, English literature about this, and I'm going to put it in the description box. I'll include the video also, but it's in Arabic, by BBC. An Egyptian young man, he married 33 women. Tahlil marriage or muhallil marriage. because the husband divorced his wife 3 times. He wants her to come back to his home to keep the family together. So this young man, he is offering his service to taste these wives, and they taste him. And then she goes to the original husband. And this too, because the Prophet of Allah left us everything we need, even to the point he explained how to go to the bathroom and how to clean yourself, how to wipe yourself after you go to the bathroom. So he explained to us that in case if you are in the desert like where he was, you should clean yourself with 3 rocks. Find 3 rocks and clean yourself. And he made sure you shouldn't use bone to clean yourself. In case if there's an old bone from an animal that was cooked and dried up, and you can, why not bone? Bone because it's the food for the genies. You shouldn't make it dirty, because what the genies are going to eat, they eat this bone. So don't only use 3 rocks, stones. Did the Roman know about how to clean themselves, or the Greek, or the Egyptian, or the many civilization back then, coming to teach us about rocks? Anyway, but he didn't leave anything loose. He had to give his opinion about everything, including if a man divorced his wife 3 times, then she shouldn't be his wife anymore. She shouldn't go back to him anymore unless somebody else tries her out. What a wonderful idea. So not punishing the man, but punishing the woman. Thank you very much. So this is not only in Egypt, but in many Islamic countries. It's a business now. It's a business. That Egyptian guy, he swear that he never took a penny from anybody. He's doing it as a service. And I don't know if service to who, to himself or to the woman or to her first husband. Anyway, this is what he claims, that he's doing it as a service. However, as I kept looking, I found out that people are doing this as a business. They advertise, I take care of your wife, I do muhallil marriage, she comes, we do the marriage, she stays with me 1 or 2 days or whatever length of time we agree on, and I take care of her, and I can taste her, she can taste me, and then she can go back to you and you can taste her, and she can taste you too. It is sickening, to a point that actually there is a Muslim segment, like a Muslim segment of people in India, and the Muslim Imam is advertising. You can Google that I will do that, I will help you, but you give donation. Some donation will go to the mosque. He's an imam. We take care of the mosque, and some for me, because I'm the one who is performing the favor. And once I'm done with her, I give her back to you, and we sign contract. I don't keep her. I don't want to keep her. I have 2 wives. I'm doing this as a favor. This is a service. It became a service even in India, which is not really an Islamic country. Muslims in India are advertising this service. and in many other countries. Bring me your wife. If you divorced her 3 times, I take care of her. I give her back to you. And the thing is, some women, it's funny, some women found out that they are actually more happy with that muhallil marriage, with that second man, after they left their husband and they went to do this kind of marriage so that they return to their family. It looks like they like more his sweetness than her original husband or first husband, so she decided to stay. Hey, good luck. But anyway, this is very interesting. It's a bit funny. It's actually not funny at all. I mean, when you talk, sex is very important, because without sex, you don't have continuation in life. So animals, plants, human, even insects, without sex, the species will die out. So sex is very important to all creatures, okay? But you don't find this craziness. But again, the Prophet of Allah came for 2 things: invade, of course with the intention to make them Muslims, thank you very much, and put his mark on Safiya bint Huyay, Zainab bint Jahsh, the wife of his son-in-law, divorced her from him, and he had to taste her sweetness. Aisha, 9 years old, he wanted to know how the young girl tastes. Khadija, 15 years older than him, he wanted to know the old, the young, the stout, the skinny, the big, the tall, all of them. He wanted to know the taste of each and every one. Thank you very much. You didn't leave anything out. Now we are really on the straight path to go to heaven. Not only that, he taught us that if we desire boys in heaven, we'll have boys. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Let me know and subscribe, share, and leave a comment. Thank you.